Hi, listeners. I'm Josh Christensen, executive producer of From the Ground Up. Today, we have a special segment brought to you by Inc. in collaboration with our partners at Glenfiddich Single Malt Scotch Whisky. This year, at the Inc. 5000 Gala, Glenfiddich presented the Legacy Award to Tim Heitmann, founder of Double Good. This award recognizes a trailblazer, an individual who has graced the Inc. 5000 list multiple times, embodying the spirit of innovation, boldness, and a relentless drive to defy the ordinary. Much like Glenfiddich, a brand that has pushed the boundaries of excellence throughout its 130-year history to become the world's most awarded single malt Scotch whisky, Tim Heitmann exemplifies the courage and brilliance it takes to redefine industries and elevate the game. Inc. Editor-in-Chief Mike Hoffman spoke with Tim Heitmann about his remarkable journey, the legacy he has built, and the honor of being presented this award sponsored by Glenfiddich. Here's the captivating conversation. Enjoy and be inspired.
I'm Mike Hoffman, editor-in-chief of Inc., and we're here with Double Good CEO Tim Heitmann, who is celebrating not his first, not his second, not his third, but his 18th time on the Inc. 5000 as an honoree. So congratulations, Tim, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Really good to be here.
So 18 times on the Inc. 5000. Take us back. When did you start this company?
So started this company in 1998, and prior to that, being in college and getting Inc. magazine, I always thought it'd be cool to be on the list at some point. And it was a little helpful going to 5,000, but 2007 was the first year we were on the list.
And so did you start this right out of college or soon after college?
Yeah, a couple years. I had a business right out of college. And then when I was in my mid-20s, started this company.
Well, let me double click on that. What was the first company?
Yeah, the first company I started actually in college, and it was a food distribution business.
So a precursor?
Yeah. And I basically distributed subs and salads and sandwiches to convenience stores and grocery stores, and did that for 3 years, and was faced with going into manufacturing and manufacturing our own product because we had a manufacturer, and just chose to sell it instead and enter something else.
And was the deal a good deal for that first sale? Small deal, good deal?
It was a very small deal, very small but profitable, and more than anything, I learned a lot.
And it gave you the capital to start Double Good.
I don't know if it gave me that much, no. Double Good was started on sweat equity.
Yeah.
And not a whole lot of capital, yeah.
Well, for folks who may be unfamiliar with the company, tell us what Double Good is and who you serve, who your client base is, and what those early days were like.
Double Good is a consumer tech company, and more specifically a fundraising company. And so we allow youth organizations, sports teams, schools, nonprofits, they come on our platform and they sell our really, really good popcorn. Mm-hmm. And they raise a lot of money with very little effort. And what makes us unique is that we do the manufacturing and the distribution and the technology. And so we're really looking to control every aspect of the customer experience so that they can have this really incredible experience.
And so this is sort of like a modern take on Girl Scout cookies or a modern take on Newman's Own. How did you come up with it? How did you get interested in this notion of let's help groups raise funds?
Yeah. So Double Good is really an evolution, and with many, many key points. And I think that in the very early days, it was just trying to figure out how to grow a business, and we tried a lot of different things. I mean, we were doing corporate gifting was the first thing we did, and then as late 90s, e-commerce just started. We did e-commerce, started to do what we called wholesale business, and sell. I went on QVC, and I did that for many years. And the last thing that we started was fundraising, and it was the first thing that wasn't so hard. And it was only about 10% of our business. I mean, the wholesale stuff was over 50%. And the really pivotal moment was I was getting frustrated with this because we were about creating joy and we weren't really doing it. The whole going through distribution channels and sitting on shelves, our product wasn't the same if we made it and shipped it directly. And so was getting frustrated, and I had this call from a buyer at Costco, and she was pretty frustrated with me, and deservedly so, and I was frustrated too. And I got off the phone, and there's a stack of mail on my desk, and there's a letter, and it had different colored writing, and I picked it up. And it went something like, Dear Mr. Heitmann, thank you for having we were called Popcorn Palace at the time, Popcorn Palace fundraising program. And I was able to raise $300 and go from Seattle, Washington, D.C. for my band competition. Thank you so much. I love Popcorn Palace. And P.S., can you send my 5th grade class free popcorn? And I sat there and I laughed. And then I was thinking, all right, these buyers and all this frustration and not really doing what the purpose of the company is, and then helping kids do what they love to do. And it was just, we're going all in on this. And in the next few days had decided we were going to exit all that wholesale business and we were going to go into this. We didn't do it right away. It took 5 years and slowly started letting them go as we grew the fundraising channel. And I got in, I started to understand the industry and started to understand the customer and realized there was very little innovation there and thought it was not only a great fit for our product, but a great opportunity to innovate and bring value to the customers.
Can you talk about this sort of sense of joy and how that came from, one of the kids who was, selling your product and raising funds that way? Also, the product itself is like sort of a fun, playful. You've got like lots of interesting branding. Can you talk about that for a moment?
So about, maybe 2016, we went from having all these channels to really being, our culture was about fundraising. And so made a decision that we were not just going to offer 50% to our fundraising program, we were going to offer 50% to all of our channels.
Did you doubt yourself? Did your team doubt you? Or not you, but the vision?
No, I think that, speaking for myself, yeah, I remember thinking, oh my God, what did we just do? I thought that I could write a book on how to ruin a company in 3 months.
What was the first sign that, okay, we're through the painful period, and we're beginning to see not just traction with this idea, but in fact, it's a new engine of growth?
There's a lot of things coming together there. There was the business model. There was the changing the name and all the branding. And if you look at the packaging, all these flavor names and packaging, they're all trademarked and IP for us. And all the designs are unique. So there's all that. And then there's the technology. And I think that, we started building the technology in 2014.
Mm-hmm. So you're a snack company with a technology platform underneath it, and that becomes more and more important, right?
Yeah. Before 2014, we had no technical people in the organization. I was the most technical person in the organization, which isn't saying a lot. But then realized that if we were going to solve these big problems in the marketplace that I saw, which was the handling of money, the handling of paperwork, and handling of product, this was going to be an iterative approach. It wasn't something we could outsource. So we needed to create a core competency of building and creating technology. That business at the time was, it was about a $20 million business at the time. It was growing every year, and we were building the technology for many years. But I think the time that it really shifted was, we went into COVID, and like a lot of people, we had a big drop to our business. The in-person fundraising dried up. We were down 50% in the first couple of months. But then we had been building this technology for 5 years, and it was an inflection point where you couldn't fundraise in person, and we had this digital platform that we were building and we were iterating on, and we really understood the marketplace. And we started referring to it as virtual fundraising, and it picked up just at the end of June in 2020, and it never stopped. You spend your whole, 15 years trying to figure out, 20 years trying to figure out how to grow a business, and now it's coming in so fast you can't handle it. Managing slowing down growth without killing the momentum and the brand while you're scaling up the business was the biggest challenge. And we needed everyone together to help to figure that out. That was the big challenge.
So, it's 2021, you're on the list maybe for 14, 15 times. Fast forward, you've now made the list 18 times, and you have jumped from 125 million up to 283 million. Sounds like closing in on 300 million. You've doubled and then some. What has changed at the company in these last 4 years? Yeah,
so probably the biggest thing that's changed is, when you grow that fast and you don't have the infrastructure to help grow people, you outgrow your people really quickly. And that's been one of the unfortunate things. I've had to re-up our leadership team a couple of times during that time period. And I think the biggest thing that's changed is we got a really incredible executive leadership team.
Do you think about your legacy?
Yeah, I do. I think about, when it comes to legacy, I don't look at myself first as a founder or owner. I look at myself as a steward for the business, because I want the business to last a long time. I want it to outlast me. I want it to outlast everyone in the company and last over 100 years. And, why is that important? It's important because Double Good runs on impact, and success to us is impact. It's not an exit. And the longer we last, the more impact we'll make.
Well, Tim Heitmann, founder and CEO of Double Good, congratulations on being the recipient of this year's Glenfiddich Legacy Award at the Inc. 5000.
Thank you, Mike.